Trump announced that he is going to meet with Putin in Budapest at a date to be determined because only he can end a war.
I don't think any president's ever ended a war, frankly. One war, I did 8 of them, Maria, right? But I don't know, did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war?
This guy has made it clear how he stands. He's sitting down at Mar-a-Lago after he got elected president, and this was his exact quote. He's talking to a bunch of folks at Mar-a-Lago.
Jimmy Kimmel and Tim Walz just went full demolition mode on Trump, and it's messier than a toddler with spaghetti at a political rally. Social media's on fire, tweets exploding, egos bruised, chaos everywhere. Trump's meltdown is one for the ages, louder and wilder than ever. If you think you've seen him lose it before, think again. Grab your popcorn. This political train wreck is impossible to look away from.
No president, nobody has ever ended a war other than him. All the other wars ended mysteriously by themselves. But he ended 8 of them. And that, kids, is why it's so important to never learn anything. It damages...
And we're going to give you a tax cut. At the same time, he was telling workers they get paid too much already. That's who this guy is. You tell me who in Wisconsin is sitting around saying, damn, I wish they'd give billionaires tax cuts and screw...
Ah, Trump. The man, the myth, the eternal Twitter storm. Just when you think you've seen it all, think again. Jimmy Kimmel grabs the mic, the crowd holds its breath, and the nation braces for the next round of chaos. Comedy and unforgettable drama.
The president has also chosen, and I stress this, chosen to tear up the values that once made America the shining light of the world. Now, in this land of the free and home of the brave, we have university students being swept up, shoved into unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process. So I want to be real clear about this. If you say you love freedom, but you don't believe freedom is for everybody, then the thing you love isn't freedom.
It starts innocently enough. Kimmel flashes that signature grin, the one that says, I'm about to ruin your life on national TV. Trump likely expects a playful jab, but gentle isn't in Kimmel's vocabulary. What follows is an hour of razor-sharp comedy. Every tweet, every wild claim, every outlandish stunt from the past year sliced apart with surgical precision. The audience howls, Trump fumes, and Kimmel stands victorious in a storm of perfectly timed punchlines.
Made more than $1 billion in crypto alone over the past year. And I guess $1 billion isn't enough because he's also hawking watches. If you watch Fox News or Newsmax for more than like an hour, you will see Donald Trump, our president, doing this.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist.
Yeah. Don't wear it around your neck.
The audience? They're losing it, laughing so hard it hurts. You can practically hear the collective thought, how was this man ever president? Oh, right, he's not. Still, somehow this feels worse, for Trump anyway. Kimmel isn't just cracking jokes. He's performing a full-blown roast disguised as performance art. He throws in impressions, exaggerated facial expressions, and dramatic pauses that feel like synchronized heart attacks. Every move, every quip, lands straight on Trump's ego, now barely clinging to life support. But here's where Kimmel truly shines. Timing. He doesn't fling punchlines like a desperate magician tossing coins into a hat. He orchestrates them, a chaotic symphony of satire. The bluster, the wild gestures, the self-centered proclamations, it's all there, mirrored and magnified. Kimmel transforms Trump's mannerisms into a living cartoon, a surreal parody so spot on it's almost cinematic. Then just when the laughter peaks, Kimmel drops that line, the one that slices deeper than any insult. The room falls silent for half a beat. Trump's jaw drops. His eyes flicker like a confused owl in a floodlight. You can almost hear his inner monologue stutter. Wait, did he just... Oh yes, he did. And the internet will never let him forget it.
They'd take my health care away. I wish they'd underfund my public school. I wish they would make my job more difficult and more dangerous. And then at the end of the day, I wish they'd make me work till I'm 75 years old. No one's saying that. No one's asking for that agenda. What they're asking for is to be treated fairly with dignity. That's what we have.
So now I can go back to my constituents, Republican constituents, and say, this is the reality of what you're facing. So again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy Tuberville or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding?
Kimmel just served Trump a full-course meal of humiliation with a generous side of embarrassment. And the crowd is roaring like they've just witnessed history, which in a way they have. But Kimmel's not finished. He dives straight into Trump's Twitter archives, unearthing a digital time capsule of delusion. Every typo, every grandiose claim, every all-caps meltdown is put under the comedic microscope. Kimmel doesn't just read the tweets, he performs them, complete with sound effects, props, and perfectly timed hand gestures, turning chaos into art. The audience howls, some laughing so hard they're in tears. You can practically picture Trump watching from his golden tower, sweating through his suit, realizing his genius posts have become public punchlines. And just when it seems Kimmel's emptied the clip, he goes meta, mocking Trump, mocking himself. It's savage and brilliant. Every inflated boast about crowd sizes, IQ points, and imaginary victories gets shredded like a clearance bin IKEA chair. Somewhere out there, Trump's probably typing a rebuttal that will only make things worse. Then, just as the dust starts to settle, Tim Walz steps in, and the tone shifts completely. Where Kimmel is a hammer, Walz is a scalpel. No theatrics, no flashy digs, just calm, surgical irony. He dismantles Trump's policies and decisions with quiet precision, turning every blunder into a masterclass in what not to do as a leader. Together, Kimmel and Walz create a 1-2 punch: comedy and critique, entertainment and exposure. It's devastating, deliberate, and impossible to look away.
His part to bring the two sides together by calling one of the sides the party of hate, evil, and Satan. Hate, evil, and Satan. And that's why they call him the peace president. Teddy Roosevelt had a press conference / pity party today. He bitched and moaned and patted himself on the back so many times he almost dislocated his shoulder. He played all the hits. He bragged about winning the elections in Georgia in 2016 and 2024. He again claimed the election was stolen from him in Georgia in 2020. The blaming and the bragging, he cannot.
Walz starts off calm, almost soothing, as he lays out facts, figures, and timelines like a patient teacher explaining the obvious. Then, out of nowhere, bam, he drops that one-liner, the perfectly timed truth bomb that slices right through Trump's carefully crafted chaos. The audience erupts, but it's that dry, knowing laughter, the kind that says, "Yeah, we see it, and wow, it's absurd." Walz doesn't yell or wave his arms. He doesn't need to. His delivery is measured, deliberate, devastatingly clear. He paints Trump's political missteps like a gallery of failure: botched policies, erratic decisions, public meltdowns, all presented with surgical precision. He doesn't exaggerate. He doesn't have to. The truth itself is hilarious, and when he sprinkles in that perfect touch of sarcasm, the crowd loses it, some laughing, others just shaking their heads in disbelief. You can almost hear the whispers ripple through the audience. Is this real? Are we watching someone calmly dismantle Trump in real time? And that's the beauty of Walz's approach. It's quiet, relentless, and utterly effective. Each point builds on the last, every fact tightening the noose of logic around Trump's bluster. By the time Walz delivers his final jab, the audience isn't just laughing, they're stunned. He's dismantled Trump's ego without ever raising his voice. It's precision. It's power. It's political art in motion.
Negotiated the damn trade deal with them. If trade is so bad with Canada, he was the guy who signed the deal. It defies logic. But look, I think this is how he ran business. He stiffed contractors. He stiffed workers. He doesn't pay his bills. He declares bankruptcy. The one thing is, his claim that he's the business president, he is the worst possible business executive that I have ever witnessed. And I hope, this is what we need. I need the business community to speak up to Wall Street.
And Trump? Somewhere he's spiraling into existential dread, probably staring at his dwindling approval ratings and wishing he could retreat to tweeting nonsense in peace. But the night's not over. Kimmel's back, and he's not about to let Walz have all the subtle glory. He strides onto the stage like a man possessed by the ghosts of political scandals past, ready to unleash another round of comedic carnage. This time, he zeroes in on Trump's quirks, the bizarre gestures, the gravity-defying hair, the endless hunger for applause. It's pure gold. Every joke hits with the precision of a heavyweight punch wrapped in a clown glove, equal parts brutal and hysterical. The audience can barely breathe between laughs. Then comes the visual assault. Props, slides, and graphics that exaggerate Trump's blunders into cartoonish proportions. One chart tracks the meteoric rise and spectacular crash of his failed initiatives. Another highlights his promises versus, well, reality. Each image feels like a punchline on its own. By the end, Trump's legacy doesn't resemble history. It looks like a slapstick sketch gone tragically wrong. Yet while Kimmel orchestrates his theatrical demolition, Walz continues his quiet, methodical counterpoint. He doesn't shout or mock. He contrasts, clarifies, and dissects. Each fact lands like a precision strike, painting a calm picture of what competent leadership could actually look like. Together, Kimmel and Walz deliver a masterclass in contrast, chaos versus control, laughter versus logic, and Trump's ego never stood a chance. Nat
has some kind of a YouTube show, and he took her for a ride during a round of golf, and even there he couldn't stop tooting his own horn.
How has it been in the White House so far?
It's been great. Having a good time. We're doing a great job. I stopped 7 wars.
Yeah.
7. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Your taxes are coming down. See, everyone's happy, honey.
That's awesome.
Awesome, Grandpa. You're awesome.
Every point Walz makes lands harder than a surprise audit. By the time he's finished, the audience isn't just laughing. They're nodding, stunned that someone can so calmly, methodically, and factually dismantle Trump without ever raising his voice. It's textbook demolition, and it's hypnotic. The crowd finds itself caught between laughter and reflection, overwhelmed by the absurd brilliance of the night. On one side, Kimmel has transformed Trump into a living punchline destined for meme immortality. On the other, Walz has quietly disassembled Trump's credibility piece by piece, wielding logic like a scalpel. It's the collision of two art forms, one loud, chaotic, and flamboyant, the other calm, precise, and devastatingly effective. Somewhere out there, Trump's probably spinning in his golden chair, muttering to himself as it dawns on him. The country and the internet have run out of patience. Kimmel commands the spotlight with theatrical flair, forcing the audience to relive every absurd moment of Trump's public life through laughter. Then Walz steps in, the counterbalance, turning comedy into commentary. Beneath the humor lies a sharp critique of leadership, integrity, and accountability. Together they deliver a flawless 1-2 punch. Kimmel with the spectacle, Walz with the substance. Trump's ego doesn't stand a chance, and just when you think it's over, Kimmel circles back. Of course he does. This time he's not just cracking jokes, he's rewriting the narrative. He recounts stories, exposes contradictions, and crafts a running commentary that makes you wonder how one man could be both so mesmerizing and so monumentally catastrophic.
Modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it. And when duly elected members of Congress tried to exercise their constitutional right of vote.
And all the while, Trump's legacy is being rewritten in real time. Not by historians or journalists, but by a comedian with perfect timing and a microphone. Kimmel shapes perception with every punchline, while Walz keeps the pressure on, calmly dissecting policies and exposing contradictions. Where Kimmel roars, Walz cuts quietly, methodically revealing the cracks in Trump's judgment. His weapon isn't mockery, it's truth. And when truth is delivered with clarity and perfect timing, it becomes comedy in its purest, sharpest form. As the night winds down, the impact lingers. Kimmel has ensured that Trump will never again be taken seriously in the realm of comedy. Walz has made it nearly impossible for him to be taken seriously in politics. The brilliance lies in their contrast, chaos and composure, spectacle and substance. And, of course, Trump can't let it go. Tweets start flying, statements are made, and the familiar storm of denial and outrage follows. But nothing can undo the damage. Kimmel and Walz have set a new standard for political takedowns, one devastatingly funny, the other devastatingly factual. By the time the curtain metaphorically falls, Trump's ego is battered, his credibility crumbling, and his once mighty legacy reduced to the punchline of its own making.
Exciting news this weekend. According to a new poll from YouGov, which is a serious polling site, or they were before this, I am more popular than the President of the United States. The guy who keeps saying I have no ratings? Well, that makes two of us. They polled more than 1,000 people, and I lead Trump by 16 points. I'm at +3, he's at -13. Is nice, but it feels like, considering the fact that I'm not a convicted felon friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've never paid off a porn star.
Because in the end, this isn't just a night of jokes, it's a masterclass in demolition. Kimmel brings the spectacle. Walz brings the precision. And Trump? He gets the experience of a lifetime, if by lifetime you mean a brutal, hilarious public reckoning destined to echo through history in GIFs, tweets, and endless YouTube clips. It's glorious. It's absurd. It's everything you hoped for and more. If you thought you'd seen Trump weather embarrassment before, think again. This is chaos, comedy, and critique all rolled into one unforgettable spectacle. It's how you dismantle a president on prime time. One joke, one fact, and one perfectly timed observation at a time. And just when it seems the night can't get any wilder, Kimmel unleashes the big guns, Trump's most iconic moments of sheer absurdity. The crowd braces for impact as a montage rolls, speeches, rallies, press conferences, each pause and stumble magnified like a blooper reel from a political reality show. Kimmel doesn't just replay them, he remixes them. Slow-motion gaffes, exaggerated gestures, perfectly timed sound effects. Every awkward expression becomes a punchline, every pause a setup for laughter. By the end, the audience can't breathe. They're laughing so hard it feels like history itself just got a sense of humor. Nat?
And I just have to start by asking you what went through your head, what went through your mind when you heard those remarks from Donald Trump in the Oval Office yesterday?
Well, Jen, it's good to see you, and thank you for asking. It's been pretty traumatic in Minnesota, and I think Minnesotans, certainly every Minnesotan knows Melissa Hortman's name, and most decent people do. What goes through my mind is nothing surprises me. There's no compassion, there's no empathy in this man, and there's no sense of governing for the whole country. We had a horrific act of political violence and the loss of
Walz strikes with surgical precision. Calm and composed, he lays out Trump's mishandled decisions, turning budget failures, diplomatic disasters, and policy contradictions into a masterclass of absurdity. Each point lands with dry, cutting wit, making the audience laugh while simultaneously questioning how any of it ever happened. Trump can only glare, realizing that logic and facts can humiliate just as effectively as comedy. Meanwhile, Kimmel thrives on chaos, spectacle, and cartoonish exaggeration. Every gesture, tweet, and boast is turned into a punchline, amplified to absurd proportions. Props, slides, and blooper-style montages transform Trump's public missteps into live-action comedy gold. The contrast is striking. Kimmel's approach is loud, theatrical, and overwhelming. Walz's is calm, precise, and devastatingly effective. Together, they create a 1-2 punch. By the end, Trump doesn't just look bad, he appears unmoored, flailing under waves of ridicule and reason. The audience is in hysterics, caught between laughter and disbelief, witnessing a rare combination of humor and harsh reality. Every tweet, every policy, every exaggerated claim becomes fodder for endless discussion online. In the end, Trump is exposed, humiliated, and the evening leaves a lasting mark, blending comedy, critique, and spectacle into something unforgettable.